I can guarantee you this saved lives, guaranteed. So I was the commander of the 2nd Battalion, 299th Infantry. We took up about almost 600 soldiers primarily from Hilo, but from all the islands within the state. We're in probably the most dangerous place in all of Iraq at the time we were there. You know, we're responsible for Route Irish, where we had the most amount of improvised explosive devices and sniper shootings, so a lot of bombing, and really, really dangerous. There was a turret where the machine gun was. Early on, we used to have our patch, the unit patch, painted on there. So everyone, when we were patrolling, could recognize who was going through. And we were responsible for the security of a major base. So there are multiple units that transited the area. But our unit, while we had that patch on, was the only unit that was not hit by an improvised explosive device. It's because they recognized the people why they knew we treated them with respect, and that saved lives. Why we were so successful is we did a lot of engagement. We bring in the doctors and the nurses, and we do clinics for the surrounding communities. We donate books for schools, we donate shoes, we donated soccer ball was like gold there. If you gave away a soccer ball, you're a hero. Even the little kids are running. As soon as they see our vehicles, you see them running with the shaka.
These Hawaii boys with their shakas, you know, it's crazy. So that was all of our first time deploying, right? And all local boys, we know, hey, this is like something we throw to our friends, you know what I mean? Family, right? So these Hawaii boys are standing at the gate guard, general comes through. Of course, he has a military obligation to give them customs courtesies. Wearing this proper salute, vehicle drives by, he throws a shaka like, okay, catch you later, my friend, or my brother, whatever the case may have been. Whatever it was, blew out of proportion where they thought it was throwing a gang sign, and we heard about it all in Kuwait.
So one night, the brigade commander says, hey, the 2-star general wants to see you. I'm like, okay, what time? Is it tomorrow? He's like, no, it's tonight. And this is 10 at night. So we walk over to this big palace, and then he's standing in the foyer right there, waiting as I walk in. And he goes like, come here, knucklehead. And he just goes, you know that laid back stuff you guys do, that surfer stuff? That needs to stop. So you guys need to render, proper military courtesies. And he was going on and on and on, very angrily. So I said, all right, roger that. Came back, talked to my staff. I issued a formal operations order in writing saying, you can no longer do the shaka while you on duty. But to poke their eye a little bit, we built this little matrix, and it's kind of a escalation of force. In the military, you don't want to kill someone unless you absolutely have to, right? You talk to someone, if you need to, then you shout, then you shove them, and then worst case, you go to lethal force. So we built this escalation matrix, and just for fun, it says, okay, you cannot shaka unless you were first shaka'd upon. You must confirm that the shaka was meant for you before returning shaka. And then we just on and on with that joke, and we published it, and we sent that out. Even the guys from Alaska was like, hey, sir, check this out. So one guy does this, then another guy does that, and then they put this together as like, this is the stealth shaka.
Because we throw shakas a lot, right? I've been at Afghanistan, I throw shakas to everybody. People actually stop and they recognize us, that people who throw shakas, we're all Hawaii guys. And where even Afghanis understand that, oh, those guys are shaka, they must be the nice guys.
From small kid, even before going to elementary school, cousins, neighbors, all did the shaka. In that era, it's just a greeting. But as time went on, you got to understand it really represented Hawaii, the culture and being connected. And we're different because of the way we're brought up. And it's a combination, all the different ethnicities, all the different cultures put together, right? The Asian culture, the Hawaiian culture. It's going back to respecting the elders, treat people like you want to be treated, and that goes a long way. And that's why the shaka is important. It's me showing respect to you, me showing that I want to be a friend or have a relationship with you. It's powerful. I really, really believe that the shaka is what the world needs.
One of my cousin's friends who came from the mainland, he didn't understand why people were doing this. He said, is that you guys belong to a cult, or you guys I said, no. He said, if you come out here in Hawaii, everybody does it.
If you knew to throw a shaka to greet somebody or to say, you know, stay cool, hang loose, you probably have spent some time here, and that was probably your credibility, especially if you're from the mainland or Australia.
Every surfer in the world knows if you truly want to test yourself, you go to Hawaii.
It was very clear to see there was this influx of surfers from California, some of the East Coast, Australians and South Africans, but super obvious like who was a local and who was a blow-in.
And we were more aggressive with the way we surfed. There was no question about it. We were less about the flow and more about the aggression of riding it like we would ride at home.
Oftentimes we associate Aloha and the Shaka as being passive, and I think that's not correct. The Shaka also comes with a kind of a warrior background as well, in the sense that you identify with others who share your sentiments.
The hui is like a club, a crew. The hui, that's literally what it means. And they're like a community of people that stand up for Hawaiian surfers.
I've known Eddie Rothman since 1973. I was a world champ when he slapped me out in the water and off the wall, and there's a photo that then got printed in Surfing Magazine, and when that happened, there was headlines in the papers in Australia the next day. Town then bashed in Hawaii. So all of a sudden, there was this friction.
You know, that story is famous. Everybody knows about that story. There was two surfers from Australia, and they came over here. This was the proving grounds. Not only these two guys, so many other guys around the world were coming to the North Shore and just taking over. And that's not the mentality in Hawaii. If you take something, you gotta give something in return. I think all the locals from the North Shore were seeing that, and they were like, what the heck? Like, these guys are just coming over here, no respect, no aloha. This is gonna stop. This is gonna end right now. And they had bounties on their head. Something bad was gonna happen to them.
We're staying at a condo and there's a knock on the door and there's Eddie Aikau.
Eddie Aikau was the modern day Duke Kahanamoku when we got there. And we see Eddie and we go, oh, I better open the door. And Eddie goes, Ian's in PT, we need to have a meeting.
This has got out of control. We need to fix this. This is about surfing.
Eddie Aikau heard these guys were in big, big trouble. I think he knew these guys' intentions, you know, they were trying to make it. And he had the true Aloha spirit, Eddie Aikau. He, you know, went to where they were staying and he told them like, hey, you guys stay here. I'm gonna go and talk to everybody. And then I'm gonna bring you guys in and you guys can talk.
So they had this big conference room and a big table there and all these locals, and we're on trial. It's called a ho'oponopono, which is getting the people together and people talking. So I really respect the idea of getting together and working through to a solution. And it happened because of Eddie and Pops Aikau and the real Hawaiians.
The full circle of forgiveness, the full circle of Ho'oponopono was performed, and Uncle Eddie Rothman and PT, there's a photo of them together, and Uncle Eddie is giving the shaka. It seems like that is like a bond that was just made, and it makes me feel that with just a little bit of aloha, anything is possible. Anything is possible to heal, to forgive, and to grow.